We start with one of our charges. I want to give a quick update. First of all, if we refer to our analysis in my last video, since the price was within this move exactly here, we mentioned how we're looking at this correction. That's why I mentioned we're looking for one move up and we want to see the breakout of the previous top. What I mean by previous top, that's mean I mentioned we want to see the breakout of the 19.9, 0.99, and this is what we get. All right. And we mentioned how we can look for trade. All right. And one of the option was to trade based on 15-minute. If we move to 15-minute, exactly when the price was here within this one, I mentioned one of the option to look for trade by having entry above this. And exactly this is what we get. But I mentioned if we want to look for trade, we need to see the continuation as a sharp move. That's why I mentioned if the price cannot break the top, then simply the price can tag and drop. That's why I mentioned if we want to look for trade, the stop loss should be somewhere below this. Anyway, this is what we get. And now we want to see what's the next. Okay. And if we move to daily chart, and we have been looking for this one as a reversal, and even we mentioned we have been looking for this correction. Okay. Anyway, we get the sharp move, but the price start to drop. Okay. Now if we want to consider this one as a reversal, we want to see the breakout of the previous top, which is 1.2. If the price can break 1.2, the next level I'm looking for is 1.4. Okay. Now I want to see how we can look for next trade, and in this case we move to forward chart. And from what we can see here, after the price break this correction, because we mentioned we want to see the continuation, and this is what we get. And right now we're looking at this correction. Even we get this sharp move down, but right now I'm looking at this one as this sharp move following by this correction. If I get any trade setup for buy from here, I will take it. I want to, this is what we're looking for. And we want to see whether the price can break 115 or not. Okay. And this is the only way we can look for next trade. And if I move to 1 hour chart, it will be more clear. That's mean right now we're looking at this correction. All right, that's mean we're looking at this correction in relative to this. And if we get any buy from here, we will take the trade. But we need to be quite careful. If we want to look for buy, we need to see the continuation with the breakout of the previous top, which is the exact value is around 1.14, because just now based on the forward chart I mentioned 1.15, but the exact value is 1.14. But how we can look at the trade, the only way to look for trade to put our entry at 1.05, put our entry above this. Rather than that, we don't have any other option. Buying without the trade setup, I won't suggest it. But if we want to look for trade, we can put our entry above this top, which is at 1.05. And what we want to look for, we want to see the sharp move and breakout and continuation. But if the price tag we see is not moving, we are not going to keep the trade for more than 2 hours. Why? Because we are looking at this one as a correction relative to this. And we can expect to get one move up, then this one turn to flat in relative to this for one more drop before we get the next move. Now the question is whether we're going to get this one or the price can continue from here. Okay, that's why it depends on the traders whether they want to get one move up to confirm with this flat, then from there they get one more drop similar to what we get here. We look for the more complex correction, that's mean the bigger flat before we get the continuation. That's mean they want to wait for this or they want to take this trade. But what I suggest from now, if we get any trade for buy from this correction, which is the only way right now by having entry at the 1.05, we will take it in case the price can continue from here without giving us one more drop before we get the next move. Okay. And right now, the only ways, I mean, the next trade I'm looking for, I will put my entry at the 1.05. But if the price start to drop with the breakout of at least the previous low, which is this one, then from there we can adjust our entry. Okay. Anyway, we're looking for the short term for buy by having entry at 1.105. What we want to see the continuation as a sharp move. But if the price tie our entry and we see it's not moving as what we wanted, we are not going to keep the trade more than 2 hours. But if we see get the trade with the breakout of this, the previous top, which is exact value is somewhere around 1.06, we need to start to manage our trade, at least move our stop loss to break even. Because if the next move is sharp, similar to what we have here, is good. But if the price tag we see the continuation is not as sharp as what we have here, then we should know that this one can turn to flat, more complex correction in relative to this. And the next down move the next move can be one more drop. All right. Anyway, having in trade 1.05 in case the price continue from here can be an option to look for trade. In this case, we just follow the chart. And if I see any update, I will share. Thanks.